Hi, it's Sister Walker here. Good afternoon. I decided to do it outside. You know, it's not quite warm enough without a jacket. It's nice out here. And I want you to see my grapevine back here. Kids got that for me on Mother's Day probably 15 years ago. And every year it goes total barren. We have to cut it back. I cry every time because I think it's not going to grow. And then it starts getting these little tiny buds and then green, and then it gets huge and it gets strong. Sometimes I do have some bugs that come in. I have to get rid of the blue tail fly or whatever that crazy thing is, and a couple other problems we've had. But it usually has so many grapes. I get buckets and buckets of grapes. But that's why I wanted to talk to you about today, Jacob 5-7. And before we get to that, anybody have any tender mercies? Think about it. Something happened this week that you know was not a coincidence. Something I know that's not a coincidence right now is our prophet is a doctor. That is amazing. So you need to recognize some tender mercies that are happening in your own life. We have family that when they're going to come, they didn't come. Now we got plenty of food. Not that we wouldn't have without them, but it's just blessing after blessing that we can share with other people. How about a missionary experience? This is a great time to have those missionary experiences because people are wondering what's happening. This is a great time for you to explain that. How about anything living the gospel that you feel like has blessed your life, or anything reading the scriptures? Please comment below if there's anything that's reached out to you. I've got several coming up, but we'll just talk about Jacob 5-7 today. Did you like how many verses there were? It's amazing. So you look at Jacob 5. These are one of my favorite scriptures. And look how many verses there are. Okay. So I had to break it up because this is one of the longest scriptures you've got. Here's a page. Well, that isn't even the first page. So it starts even on this page down at the bottom here. Then you turn the page. That whole thing. Then you turn the page. That whole thing. And then you turn the page. And that whole thing. And then you turn the page. There are 77 verses. Oh my goodness. How could you ever? I actually broke it up a section, like I had like 5 sections and did a little bit every day to study it. This is the same that's in the Bible. This is from the Bible. So here's another testament to you. How would Joseph Smith have known about Zenith and the allegory of the olive tree? There is no way with his education and where he lived that he would have known about this. And it is almost verse for verse and exact. What I taught when I taught seminary, I still showed it to my kids when they were growing up. I still watch it. I think it's a great example of what this symbolism of this means. And I want to tell you that in verse, I'm going to break it up. So I'm going to take 3-14. But before I do, I want you to push stop and get your paper out. And I want you to answer these questions. So get some paper out. How come that looks backwards? I don't know why that does. So we have the Lord here. What does the Lord represent? What about the wild trees? What do they represent? And the tame trees. And then we have the vineyard. What's the vineyard? And then there's the 5 time periods. So I want you to stop the video here. Put that on the paper, what you think those are, and then come back. Stop. Okay, now you're back. So who was the Lord? Who's the Lord? Right, it's Christ. How about the wild trees? Who are the wild trees? Pretend like I'm calling on people. There we go. That is correct. It's the Gentiles. It's those that have been baptized or follow Christ. How about the tame trees? That's correct. It's us. It's us as the members that have taken the covenants. And the other thing was the vineyard. Well, the vineyard's what is going on right now. The vineyard is the plan of salvation, everything that's happening. The 5 time periods I want to talk to you about, 3-14. Now, if you stop right here and you read 3-14, you're going to find that's a scattering of Israel. So they're getting all over the place. Then after that section, then you can read on from 15 to 28. And that talks about the time of Christ when he was here and what he set up his church, exactly how he set it up and his organization. And then the next section is 29 through 49. That's known as the Great Apostasy. Now, if you remember, I had a base right here. I had put all the church and things up here. And when Christ was killed and the apostles were killed, the foundation was gone and it fell apart. That's the apostasy. It was a dark time. But out of that came the Renaissance and the reborn again and looking for the truth. And that was 50 through 76. And that's through Joseph Smith's time, which is exciting because we're going to learn about that at conference. 200 years. Amazing. And that is now, what you're living right now. Then the next section is 76 through 77, just a few short scriptures about the millennium, which is coming very soon. I want to talk to you about verse 72. When it talks about gathering, do you ever think about gathering yourself? My grapevine back here, like I said, I had to do many things. I had to prune it. I have to feed it. There's certain things you can feed grapevine that makes it do well, like banana peels are a good one. Eggshells are another good one. Epsom salt. These are all good things in moderation, of course, but they help it to become healthier. What are you doing to gather yourself? So think about that from verse 72. And in verse 76, why do we cut things back? I actually served a mission in Chile, and thousands were baptized. The first temple, I got to meet President Kimball there because he came down to dedicate the breaking of the temple ground there, and it was just an exciting time. But then as the time went on, the church got a little weak because it has grown so fast. So President Hall went back down, I think it was about 10 years ago, and he asked us to go down as return missionaries to find our people that we had taught and help this to be the pruning so that they could make it stronger. I wasn't able to go because I had 3 missionaries out at one time, and husband was a school teacher at the time. We just couldn't afford it. But I had friends that went down, past companions and that, and they said it was interesting that President Holland actually cut back. He made 2 wards into 1 ward, made several stakes into another stake, and some people got their feelings hurt. It was a lot of things going on, but it strengthened it. I want you to look how many temples are now have been built or are going on in Chile. It's very, very strong, and that's what you have to do. Sometimes you have to prune the vine. All right, so that's another thing that's going on. Okay, Jacob then says his goodbye in chapter 6. He's saying farewell, goodbye. Then he also stops and he adds on the story of Sherem. And I want you to watch the video at the end of this on Sherem. We see many Sherems in our life. Oh my goodness. And Jacob 7 through 4 talks about, do we know people? So look at Jacob 7, verse 4. Do we know people that are learned, that they're wise, and they use flattery? And sometimes we don't know what to say. We're like, stop, And then afterwards you think, oh, I had a good answer for that. Well, I want to tell you, with the Spirit, you can confound them. And there are many times that I have been challenged by people that are challenging my faith and my belief. And with the Spirit, I have been able to stop it. Don't let them lead you astray. It doesn't matter how learned they are. Basic faith is what's going to get you through it. And depending on the Spirit to be with you. This is all good that's happening. We're always fixing. We're always restoring. And we need to be nourishing ourselves. Don't forget to nourish yourself. If you don't nourish yourself, then you become like the plant. I can see them right here. I have some plants right here that I have forgotten sometimes to water, or I've forgotten sometimes to feed them. I like talking to my plants. Hopefully that's a good thing, that we're talking. I think that's what's hard right now. We're missing each other because we need talking. We need that edifying. That's what Fast Sunday is so wonderful, is to hear each other's testimonies. This Sunday, we've been asked to hold a special fast for all the people that are going through suffering in this time of this pandemic. Please participate in that on Sunday. Start your fast and start it with a prayer. You need these things to nourish you. The next section we're going to be reading, of course, is the words of Mormon and Enos. Oh, love the story, and it even stood out to me more. Think about how praying would make more meaning to you. How is it going to make more meaning to you? I did think of the scripture, Jacob 4:6. So go back to that. Look at Jacob chapter 4, verse 6. Unshakable faith. Because you're going to hear that again. Unshakable. What does unshakable mean? We're going to hear that again with Enos. So pull out your scriptures, pull out your journals. Journal what you're thinking, what's happening, feelings. Keep records. I did make cookies. I promise you I made all these chocolate chip cookies. And someone ate them. So when we get together again, Sister Walker will have a goodie for you, I promise. I was going to actually eat one of the cookies in front of you right here, but I went in there and they were all gone. It's like, who ate the cookies? I even set them apart. You know. Anyway, that's the end of that story. And please watch the videos at the end of these. I've got some great ones on the Allegory. Book of Mormon Central is another great place to strengthen your knowledge and your faith. And so I've put a little clip on that. Book of Mormon Central. And of course, the Book of Mormon videos have been made for us. Have a great day. We'll see you probably on Sunday. That's when I'm going to try to do the next video. I love you guys. I miss you guys. And we can do this. We can do it together. We can be strong. Take care. Be healthy. Do like the prophet said. Take your vitamins. Get your rest.